Hello, ukulele bandits. A big shout out to Pauline from the Bracklesham Barn Ukulele Club, and I'd like to say that this is a request, and this is a perfectly apt song for our swing fill rhythm. So if you've worked on it and you've practiced it, we can apply that rhythm to this song. So Pauline, if you're got good at that rhythm, this is the rhythm you'd need to use for this. It's a very light sounding, nice and slow song, lovely song, and I will just give you a rough idea of how I would approach it and how it should be played with these chords. And we're looking at the version from Jim's Ukuleles book, and it's a very good book for gazillion ukulele songs, and we use it quite a bit. Just put in Jim's ukulele book online and you'll come across it. And big shout out to Jim. This version here, we're going to look at just what this version entails. You can play it with a capo on different frets, and I didn't want to really go into that because not a lot of people have a capo, and it makes it a bit awkward in the ukulele club when some of you got a capo and some of you haven't got a capo. So although in the book it says ukulele capo on the 3rd fret, we're just going to play it in the key of C, which we're quite accustomed to. Should make it a little bit easier to play as well. So first of all, the chords we've got involved. So we have a C chord, which is straightforward, a C major 7, which is nice and straightforward. If we've got a 3rd finger on that C, we can roll a 2nd finger onto a C major 7, so that's a 2nd chord. A C6, how easy is that? It's all the open notes, so you're just playing a C major 7 and a C6, and then we're going to go into our A diminished. This is a bit trickier, so we're looking at the corner up here, A diminished, and you want the 1st finger on the G string at the top, 2nd finger down here on the E, on the so 2nd fret, skip it across. You can see that I'm on the 2nd fret, and then on the 2nd fret again, if that makes sense, on the E string, and then the 3rd finger will be played on that C string and the little finger on the A string, and that will go on the 3rd fret and the 3rd fret. So it gives you this pattern that you can see here, and that's a diminished chord. It's quite an unusual chord, doesn't come in a lot of common pop songs these days. You see it a lot of jazzy, and this has got a jazzy feel to it, so you see it more in like jazzy-ish songs. So it's a good chord to learn, and that adds something, and it sounds very nice on the ukulele. So if you're not sure about that, the best way to think about it in terms of making it easy for yourself to think and memorize a chord, if you know a G chord, so there's a standard G chord, 1, 2 and 3, take it all up a string and then add the little finger to the 1st string on the 3rd fret, and it's exactly the same chord. And because you've already practiced the G chord and mentally you're equipped to sort of think G and go straight to it, it's a nice easy way of thinking about it. That A diminished is a G chord on the string above, then put the little finger underneath. Little tip there, that will help. If a chord is it's got the same finger in as another shape, feel free to sort of use the idea of memorizing that shape. It's just on a different string, and then you add this finger. That's a nice way of getting there. So that's the A diminished, and then a D minor. So your 1st finger, we got this on the E string, 2nd finger up here on top on the G, and the 3rd finger underneath on the C string. There's the D minor. And then we have got an A7, so an A7. 1st finger, just 1 finger jobby, that's a nice easy one on the C string on the 1st fret. Anything else in there? Oh, the only other chord I can see is the G6, which is a G, just take the 3rd finger off, which you can easily play as a G or a G6, but so if you play a G instead of a G6, I'm just tune up guys, because should have done that really before the video, but hey. I could hear it was slightly squiff. There you go. But I'm not going to start the video again. It's gives it more authentic feel there. So you've got C chord, C major 7, C6, A diminished, D minor, A7, and then we go to D minor, F minor. We haven't done the F minor, so let's look at the F minor. F minor. Okay, this is a cool chord. So you put the 1st finger on the G string on the fourth string up from the 1, 2, 3, 4. So G string. 2nd finger down here on the E string on the 1st fret, and then little finger ideally on the 3rd fret. You can use a third finger. It's a bit of a stretch, a bit awkward. I would say a little finger is the easiest way of applying it. So there, and little finger on that third fret, if that makes sense. And that's an F minor. So yeah, that is that all the chords? Yeah, all the chords. 2, 4, 6, 8. So yeah, well, you asked for it, Pauline. So yeah, but it's a lovely song and it's nice and slow and it's definitely a good one to learn. So F minor. So a couple of tricky chords. A diminished, I don't think it's too tricky if you think of it like the G. F minor may be a little bit trickier, but a tip. So if you're playing it and it's a bit tricky getting to that little finger, get in there, don't do it. Just do the top string. So you got to just play the top strings and don't play that first string. Maybe mute it, maybe rest on it. Okay, so then you don't want to play that because it sounds horrible. So that's an F minor, so that's with the little finger. You just play the top note if you feel that you're struggling getting your little finger in there or you don't get it quick enough. You know, form the top of the chord first, because when you strum from the obviously going down from top to bottom, you strum downwards. If you can form the top of the chord first, it gives you a bit more of a chance to get the whole chord in there, rather than trying to do it from the bottom. You don't want to do it that way. So always do the first finger, second finger, and then the next finger in. If you practice it that way and get it consistently, you'll get that. But like I said, you know, the worst that could happen is you could just form the top of the chord, and if the little finger's either muted or not quite in there, that's okay to start with, because you'll get the F minor sound from those 3 strings as well. So little tips with that really. And then the G6, obviously you just did a G and you're lifting that third finger off, and if you don't remember or you think of it as a G and you don't quite get it right, or you're getting a muted sound yet again, not a big deal, you can still play it as a G, but you know, work on these little extra sounding chords because they just add a bit more interest to the normal sounding chords that we use. So the C major 7, I'm going to go through just strumming once on every chord. So C major 7, C6, and then the A diminished, which is, think of your G, little finger in. I'll do it face forward like that. And then you've got the D minor. And then this is the best way of doing it as well. Just strum once on every chord to get used to them. A7, then D minor again. Now the tricky F minor, get those 2 in first, then the little finger, then the C. Now you can keep the little finger when you go from F minor to C. Absolutely fine, you know, it makes it easy, doesn't it? So if it makes life easy and it sounds good, do it. There's the C, and then the A diminished. It's perfect if you keep the little finger there as well. That's the way I do it. I've just realised that just through doing it, because it makes sense. If you're going from F minor, little finger's there, play the C. Now we want to put the A diminished in. You keep the little finger there, it doesn't even move. So for 3 chords, that little finger stays on the 3rd fret. But literally, as I said before, if you struggle getting there and you do that, that's okay. You know, however you get there, just to get through it to start with, get the chords formed, get the chord shapes in your head to start with, and get the fingers like you did when you first started doing the first 3 chords. Just get your fingers familiar to those chord shapes. That's the best way of dealing with any new chord shapes you learn. And then so we've got A diminished, and then the D minor we're shining through at the moment, and then the G6, which is just that lift off, which you can play as a G or a G6. You know, so it's a G6, which is just that 3rd finger coming off, adding an E note to the sound of a G. Okay, and it makes it sound a little bit more interesting. So that's the first verse. And the second verse, so I'm here at the moment, we're looking at Light Up Your Face with Gladness. We've got the C, and then the C major 7, and then a C6. It stays on there for a little bit longer than the D minor, A7, and then the D minor, then that F minor, get the chord in, little finger. Now notice the same thing we've got here, C, D, A diminished. Notice I'm keeping my little finger there again. If you can do that, that would be the perfect way of playing those chords together. And then the D minor. Now we hang on the A for the last bit. Hang on it, it slows down. G6, C. So lovely sounding chords, just form them first, 1 strum per chord. Get used to the chord changes, get used to the shapes, and then the next step will be to apply the rhythm, which will be the swing fill. And if you can get the down, depends on how fast you want to do this. You know, it's a very gentle, slow song. You don't have to do it really slow. You can do it a little bit more upbeat. There are many versions on YouTube. I've seen quite a few of them. Some are really good, and some, it's questionable what keys they play and the way they do it. But everyone has their own choices. But there's a lot of really good versions out there of people doing it on the ukulele and singing it, and some girls with some lovely voices and whatever you to follow. And if you're doing it in the key of C, I think there's 2 or 3 that do it in the key of C, and then some of the others do it in different. There's a few in different keys, which the original I think is in a different key as well. Which that means you can put the capo on and find the key that's most comfortable. So the chords don't change, the shapes don't change. It's just where you play, put the capo and where you play it. That's another story. Keep it simple, keep it in C, get all the shapes in your head first. And if you're familiar to singing and playing in C, it's perfectly fine in this key as well. So that second verse is just the same thing: C, C major 7, C6, D minor, A7, D minor. The only difference is going to be that ending, F minor, the C, and then the D, A diminished. Now the ending, D minor, pause, then G6, pause, smile. There you go, C. So I'm going to apply that a rhythm. So 1, 2. Remember the 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. So that's a nice slow speed. C6, A diminished, D minor, A7, D minor, F minor, C. I'm just doing it with my thumb. A diminished, G6. Then the next verse, I'm just playing it equally apart at the moment. I'm not worrying about the vocals, where I'm singing it and where I'm playing it. I'm just literally trying to get the feel of the rhythm and the feel of those chords. Once you've got the chord changes and the shapes are in your head, and then you get that rhythm right with the swing, it will sound great. It will sound perfect, very close to the original as well with that swing feel. And then the C major 7. So I'll do the second verse now, C6, A7, D minor, F minor, C, D, A diminished, D minor, G6, C. I mean, I started speeding up a little bit there just to get through those chords a little bit quicker for you, but you can keep that even slower. Really nice. And just show you that rhythm hand there. I'm just stroking the string. However you want to do it, thumb, finger, but both, nails, however, it's very light. It's, you're grazing the strings, remember guys? Make it nice and light and easy, and that's the strumming pattern. So that was a tutorial on how you should be approaching it to learn to play. I will do another little video of me having a little bit of a go through just to give you an idea of the play along, and I'll have to practice it a little bit as well. So the idea is this is the tutorial for the chords and how you should play them, so maybe some little tips and technique and the rhythm. Hopefully that helps, and yeah, thank you for suggesting that, Pauline. That's a really good song, and a lot more videos to come with some really cool songs and techniques in the future. And best wishes, good luck with it. Any problems, anything you want to ask me about it, go for it, and I'll speak to you soon.